So I talked about Erikson before, but I wanted to explore Joan Erikson, Erik Erikson's wife's expansion of the life cycle. And so she built on her husband's eight-stage model to introduce a profound ninth stage. So this addition offers new insight into human development during advanced old age. And Joan's work combines theory, personal experience, and cultural critique, giving us a rich framework for understanding the psychological tasks of the old years. So Erik Erikson's final stage, integrity versus despair, begins around age 65. But Joan, as she aged into her 80s and 90s, saw this stage didn't fully capture the realities of very old age. So drawing on her personal journey and observational insights, she proposed an additional stage, one that revisits all the previous crises under new conditions of physical vulnerability. And this shows how development doesn't stop, it simply changes in nature. Joan Erickson introduced the ninth stage to address the developmental experiences of people in their 80s and beyond. She saw this stage not as a separate crisis, but as a return to all the previous ones, reframed through the lens of aging. So, with less physical strength and more resilience on more reliance on others. The individual faces familiar struggles, but now with deeper stakes and often a different emotional tone. So the challenge is not only survival, but dignity, connection, and meaning. Joan mapped the ninth stage by revisiting earlier stages of life. So, trust versus mistrust is re experienced when relying on caregivers. Autonomy reemerges as individuals try to preserve self direction, even when dependent. Intimacy becomes harder as loved ones pass, but must be sought in new forms. These are not regressive struggles, rather, they reflect the deep human need to stay connected and whole even as the body changes. In this stage, Joan moves away from wisdom as abstract knowledge. Instead, she defines it as embodied and relational. Wisdom that comes from living in a vulnerable body and still seeking meaning. She argues that integrity isn't just about looking back, it's also about ongoing engagement and creativity in daily life. And it's the wisdom of learning how to live with less, but with purpose. One of Joan's most powerful ideas is that aging isn't just decline, it's development. So the ninth stage is a time of psychological and spiritual growth. Yes, there are real losses of loved ones, abilities, roles, but there's also resilience and redefinition. So Joan asks us to reimagine or imagine elderhood not as a time of fading away, but as a rich developmental terrain, an active phase with new challenges and opportunity. What set Joan apart from what sets Joan apart is that she lived the stage she was writing about, and her reflections like I'm 93 and still learning how to be me grounded the theory and lived experience. So she critiques how modern society treats the elderly, calling for a cultural shift toward honoring their contributions. And through her voice, we don't just learn about aging, we feel its texture, its grace, and its difficulty. So Joan's work has left a lasting mark, and in academics, her ninth stage is now part of psychology and gerontology curricula, and clinically, it helps healthcare providers understand the emotional and spiritual need of the oldest old. So culturally, she reframes aging as a time of continued growth and contribution for families and individuals navigating late life. Her words offer understanding, comfort, and a new way to think about aging.